Hey, what's up, friends? It's Anne-Sophie here of She's a Changemaker. You can find me at anne-sophie and I want to talk about summits, speaker series, online speaking events, those things that lots of people have been hosting for several years. And, are they dead? Are they not dead? Is this a thing? And what do you really get from hosting them? So I've hosted a couple of virtual speaking events. So I'm going to just dive right in. And if you're coming in live, awesome. And if you are watching the replay, well, we're just going to get straight into the content. And if you do have questions along the lines, whether you're watching live or on this replay, as you watch this, please, use the little love and like icons to interact with me as well, to tell me if something is resonating with you. So I really want to talk about whether summits are dead and what actually works for you when you host a summit. So I'm going to talk about this story because I realized looking back, so I held a summit about a year ago, and it was my second ever summit. I went from idea to I think I'm going to host a speaker series, to having it completely done and delivered with 10 speakers, fully recorded, processed, edited, put in my evergreen system and all that in about 2.5 weeks. So that is pretty fast, I have to say. It was the second time I was doing it. And at the time, what was happening, and if you say hi when you come in, and if I say something, you have questions, post it in the comments. So at the time that I was hosting this speaker series, I was also going through the launch of a program. So I was going through this project, and as I was going through the project, I had that inspired idea. I'm going to host a speaker series. And I thought, why not? It's going to be super fun. I really wanted to do something that's going to give a lot of great content to my audience, and at the same time, create some content that I can reuse and, build my list. So speaker series and events are often built as being really great ways to get your message out and to build your brand and your audience. And it really is. And they're also, a lot of people sell them, they sell the recordings, they sell all kinds of stuff from them. I sold nothing from my event. I just basically hosted an event. I wanted to use it to make a big gift to the community. And as a result, it was super well received. And looking back, so it was about a year ago, I think I got about $15,000 of new business, of clients that came from the long-term work over time. So that's pretty awesome ROI. Now, here's the thing, a lot of people will decide, I want to get booked on a speaker event. And if you don't have much of a following and a big list and you get booked, you're going to get some visibility from that. And there's definitely some credibility hacking that happens, but that is really can't be the primary objective. It's going to happen, but it's probably not going to be the first thing that happens. There's one bigger, more important thing that happened for me, and that I think happens for a lot of people, especially if you're a highly intuitive, creative person and you have a lot of ideas, and if maybe like me, you were somebody who has over time wrestled with a lot of self-confidence issues, and visibility has been scary. So if this is something you don't know about me, I used to be a super shy girl. For example, I remember my mom when I was 14 saying, hey, can you call the restaurant and make a reservation? And I looked at her pretty much like this, no, I just could not do that. It was not a possibility. All this to say that I was very I held back a lot. And so being that shy person, and the confidence issues came from early in my childhood, it's always felt somewhat difficult to step up and really do this visibility part, do the live videos, do the interviews. And one thing that happened from deciding to host a speaker series is that before the speaker series, it's I was stuck in this marketing loop. So the marketing loop is basically when you have an idea, and tell me if this resonates with you. You have an idea and you're you start to work on it, and it's oh yeah, this is good. And then people give you feedback, and then you're oh, I don't know, maybe this isn't it, maybe this isn't it. And then somebody gives you a template, and somebody gives you, do this tweak, do that tweak, and then you don't trust yourself anymore. So I've been stuck in a bit of this marketing loop thing for a little while, trying to figure out what the fuck is my thing. And so when I held this speaker series, I had this inspired idea that basically, you know, when you're thinking so much about what's in it for me, what's in it for me, you're not really thinking about your audience. And at that point, doing the speaker series was the best thing I could do, because not only, yes, it connected me to amazing people and influencers, and yes, it brought me all this new business, which was fantastic and is still fantastic. But the biggest thing that I got from it is that it ended the loop. It ended the questioning. It ended the doubting. It was like the perfect hack to get absolutely productive. So, you know, I hear a lot of my colleagues, and it is true, you can get a lot of amazing business from in-person speaking. And I've done in-person speaking and received business from it. But I'll be honest, I think that in-person speaking is not necessarily always the first step for everyone. The first step to feel absolutely brave enough and safe enough to go out there and share your message sometimes is just doing this online version of speaking, whether it's through a live video or creating your own platform. So looking back though, what the biggest win was from this speaker series and hosting that first speaker series, as well as the one that I did before that. So the two of them, just, I never told you what they were, but the first one was called Secrets of Game-Changing Parents, and I interviewed 25 really well-known entrepreneurs. And by the way, I didn't really have a list at the time when I very first started. That first list, I think I had like 60 people on my list when I started the first summit, like nobody, not nobody, 60 amazing folks who said yes, but I didn't have like thousands. And I reached out and got amazing people to say yes to, you know, being on my list. I did some fearless networking. And that summit went out to an audience of about 250,000 people. So I didn't grow my list by 250, but I grew my list enough and did get new business from it. But that time and the second time, so the January 2016 event, which was about, it was the inaugural launch of She's a Changemaker as a brand in and of itself, allowed me to get the biggest win that I'm about to reveal, which was that there was this version of myself, a changemaker inside of me, who just desired to go for something bigger. So if you're this person who's super creative, who has a lot of ideas, but then can be distracted as fuck, like bright shiny object, and trying to fit whatever your big message, your big voice is into template 1, template 2, or some kind of formula, and trying to do this way, that way, and this other way, then to be honest, like hosting, sorry, the light's really, let me just turn off a light, just give me a sec here. All right, let's come back. So what I was saying is, you know, so basically if you're this person who can get very distracted, bright shiny object, templates and this, and trying this idea, that idea, this idea, that idea, and it's not quite jiving for you all the time, then one of the ways that you can actually get yourself to be focused is to take a stand and really choose to do a project that is bigger than you. A project that is not necessarily for you, it's a big give, but what it's gonna give you is this version of you who is clear, who is confident, who is decisive, and is simply taking action. Yes, you do need some guidance. So, you know, the second time I did that summit, that speaker series, I knew what to do. I'd done it once already with a coach, and so the second time I did it all on my own. I didn't have a VA. I did everything, to be honest. I did every single thing from, you know, reaching out to the speakers to even editing my videos and putting up online. I did it all. And it was fine. I was still recovering from a concussion, and my mom was here visiting. I was only working part-time, and I pulled it off. And the reason I was able to do it and build so much momentum, really get my ass in gear and my marketing super clear, is because I decided to take a stand for something that was so much bigger than me. And when that happens, the biggest win that you get is that the details that used to bog you down are no longer relevant. Details don't matter anymore. You're doing what matters, only what matters, and you're sticking to that accountability of showing up for yourself and your tribe and the work that you're here to do. And that is the biggest win, my friend. And you know, it can be a real challenge to step into this version of you, but until you decide to choose to be that person through a project like this, it probably is not going to happen. So I wanted to share this story because honestly, it was a big learning, a big lesson to me. I mean, in terms of, you know, how much time could I have spent wasted, quote unquote, finessing, you know, a webinar page, finessing a sales page, and working on marketing when really all I had to do was just show up and give more. give more of myself, give more to myself by being the version of me who could kick ass and take names. So now if you're wondering if this can work for you, so one of the clients that I did work with since then came to me specifically saying, I wanted you to teach me how to do a summit. She wanted me to teach her how to do interviews, how to put the whole thing together. She's a very DIY person, so we worked well together on that stuff. Not that, you can't hire a team. Of course you can hire a team to do that, but if you want to do it on your own, there's definitely some amazing fun ways to do all those things yourself. But yeah, so she did pull it off. She went right into an industry that she was not known in at all, had absolutely no lists. She reached out to influencers and ended up building some really great personal relationships with those people. And as a result is working on collaborative projects now, building retreats out of country from where she is on the specific area, working directly with people she only, did not have access to before. So it's allowed her to step into a version of herself who is, again, more clear, more confident, on fire, this change maker version of who she is. This version of you, the thought leader, the change maker, the action taker that exists in your life, but you're not quite, is going to arise and show up when you decide to take a step forward and do a big project like this. So, if it's calling you to create a speaker series, actually, I'm going to step it back. If you're feeling called to speak on a speaker series, if you're feeling called to be a featured speaker on a series of some kind or on somebody else's stage, then I'm going to challenge you and say, like, why not just create your own stage? Because the thing you're going to win most of is not even, the money that will come from it, because some cash will come, absolutely. Or it's not the clients, or it's not the list build or the access to the influencers, is you're going to meet the influencer inside of you. You're going to meet that person inside of you who has been fucking dying to come out. And that version of you is the one who can go and change the world, is the one who has the words, the wisdom, the potential to really do epic shit. So, if you want to publish great books and have world-changing work, start with something safe. And doing a speaker series, whether it's just through voice or even better, I would encourage you to do it through video. It's going to challenge you to step up to your fucking plate, Some of you might listen to this and say, like, fine, if I'm going to host an event, might as well host an in-person event. I'm like, yeah, do it. Do an in-person event. But I'll be honest, when I hosted my very first in-person event, it was so much more work to have 5 people show up to my event, my first event. 5, actually I had 10, but for so much more work from my first event to get myself ready as a speaker, to get over the jitters, to get the marketing out there, get people to physically show up. It's a lot less work to get people to show up to virtual stage, a digital place. You show up from, your home office. And personally for me, so a year and a half ago, I had a concussion. And as a result, I cannot go to, currently noise and crowds are still kind of overwhelming. So I've had to do a lot of my networking from my home office, so which fits my lifestyle currently. And maybe it's the same for you. If you live in a remote area, you can create an amazing global event that will impact many lives from the comfort of your own house. So, there are things that we need to set you up with, from having the right audio, the right lighting, and actually my lighting's a bit off right now. I forgot one of my lights. So normally I have a light behind me. There's a lot of different things that you need to have in place to do it from the comfort of your own home. But when you just make that decision, make that choice, I'm going to create an event that is bigger than me, going to serve my tribe, you're going to suddenly meet this version of you you never realized, well, you always knew existed, but you just hadn't met this person yet. You're going to be more clear, more confident, and you're going to get your ass in gear. Ass in gear, like no more indecision and waffling. And that is the biggest gift of it all. So yes, there's stuff that you need to know around, like, how do you pick your topic so that it's compelling to your audience, so that it helps position you as an expert, that it helps build your platform, all that jazz. You're going to need that. You're going to need certain pieces of your marketing, from where do you collect people's email addresses to send them your interviews. You're also going to need, promotional videos, some lighting and some sound things, some video editing components. And there are people who can do this stuff for you. There's a lot of stuff you can do yourself. personally, I mean, I ended up setting up a whole video studio in my home office. So that's definitely the kind of stuff that I'm going to be showing anybody who works with me on this. So I'm going to be creating my third summit this winter. And as I created, I decided I would invite some women who feel like they want to create their own as well, have been curious to do it, and want to do it in a casual but fun and fired up kind of way to join me. So if that's you, what I invite you to do is check out my website at Anne-Sophie.com, so my whole name.com, and if you go / or whatever / summit, the number 2, success. And that's just a short program that lasts for 6 weeks where we go through everything. But the additional piece that I've added, because I look back at the 2 summits that I held and I have a lot of ideas about how to make them better. And it's about how can you leverage the fuck out of those summits. There's so much amazing content that gets recorded in those interviews and people don't leverage it. I mean, I leveraged my summit a little bit, but next round I'm leveraging it, like leveraging the fuck out of it. Like there's so much content. You're having amazing people show up on camera with you. You're interviewing them. And then what do we do with it? We just broadcast the interview once. Like that's not enough. There's so much more we can do. And, you know, that's how we can actually, for a short amount of time, you do this concentrated, awesome, epic work, like tiny amount of time, amazing, epic work. And then you get your marketing groove on by figuring out all the different ways you can repurpose the work so it can get you seen on a whole bunch of other platforms, from creating a podcast to maybe publishing a variety of other content. I don't want to reveal it all here, but you know, there's so much more you can do, so much more you can do with those summits. So are summits dead? I think summits that are just there to build your list, yeah, sure, they can be dead. You know, if there's no soul behind an event, sure, it's going to be dead. But if you put your heart and your soul inside of something, and you've really put your passion behind it, and if you decide this is going to be the event that is not only going to change the life of my tribe and the life of the people who participate on it, but it's going to change my life too, it's gonna. It's all about that intention. So I definitely know that summits are not dead. I might not always call them a summit. You know, it might be an online global virtual conference or something. Like, the name doesn't really matter. The point is, if your intention is to create an event that is going to be radically life-changing for you and the people whose life you're meant to change, that includes you. If you're going to be changing somebody's life, it's going to include you too. Then it's going to be a life-changing event. It's going to be a global phenomenon if you decide that. And when you decide to do that, you're going to meet the person inside of you who is the person who can do that. She's there. She's just sometimes kind of waiting for you to show up, right? So yeah, I was dancing around the idea of doing a third summit, but I'm doing it. I'm just stepping up and doing it. I even already have 6 interviews recorded to broadcast, and those are going to be podcast interviews, but they're also going to be repurposed inside of the speaker series, so I can do 2 things with them. So that's one repurposing ideas, right? So you take your content and you put them in one concentrated global online event, but then you also have it in another platform and put it on iTunes so that it's part of your podcast. And there's other ideas, other ways that you can repurpose your content. It's all about being juicily creative and really, really taking a stand for what you're here to do. And, you know, taking the one idea, the one message. Like, if you think about TED Talks, for example, the ones that are the most popular have one idea that has spread really fucking far. And so this is the idea with your speaker series. Even if you've done 2 speaker series in the past, or 4 or 5, what if you take the same idea, the same content, and you make it go further? Make your voice and make your words go further. Work better for you and for your tribe. I think, like, focusing on how much money you can make and how much you can build your list is the wrong idea. And actually 2 misconceptions, you know. One of them is you can't host the summit and until you have a big enough list to attract big enough speakers. That's bullshit. Like, complete bullshit. First summit I ever held, like first one, I had 60 people on my list. One of my partners was a big shot. I did some fearless networking, fearless asking, which is one of the things I can teach you to do. And he emailed 80,000 people. One solo email to 80,000 people. I'm like, my heart was racing. Oh my God. But you know what? Like, it was an amazing relationship builder to build with this amazing person, influencer. But he didn't, his list, it was not even the one that brought me the most people to my list. Actually, the number that matters the most when you're building an event like this, a summit, is actually how engaged somebody's list is. So I had some collaborators and partners who had much smaller lists. So one of my collaborators had about 1,000 people on her list. She brought me a lot of people to my audience because she was really engaged in the event. She really cared, and she loved the snot out of her people. Like, her tribe was super engaged. So she actually was an amazing JV partner. I would say better than some of the people who had a very big list. So, you know, it's not just about the list size. It's about how big your heart is. It's about how engaged you're going to be with your audience, how much you're going to give, how much you're going to get your speakers who are coming to speak along with you on this platform to really give a giant fuck about what the hell you're doing. Like, if everybody cares equally to make a big ass difference, you're going to make a big ass difference. Like, bottom line. And you see, like, when you meet this change maker version of you through a project like this, how much those change makers are going to remember their passion, remember why they're doing the work that they do. Like, my first summit was called Secrets of Game-Changing Parents. I interviewed some people who were, quote unquote, completely out of my reach. Like, I remember I interviewed Christian Michelson when I was like, I was nobody on the coaching business, and he had a list of, who knows, 100,000 people? I don't know. But I remember telling people that I was interviewing him, and people were like, how did he say yes? I'm like, well, you know, it's the power of asking. And I got bold. I just asked. And I persisted. But you know, it opened doors, but mostly for me, it opened confidence doors. It was like, well, if I can do this, then anything is possible. And that's the real win. You are the win. You're the win. Because then anything really is possible. It's that momentum, that energy that gives you you. You know, you cannot change the world until you become this change maker version of you. So whatever it is, whatever the project is, whether it's a speaker series or something else, find that thing, whatever that thing is that makes you come alive so you can do with the thing that your life is meant for you to do. Like, whatever that purpose thing, that legacy piece, that's what it is. So I'm hosting a 3rd speaker series this winter because I like this part of me. I like this version of me who is unconfused and is unapologetic and who shows up with momentum and confidence and just fucking does it. And she doesn't show up all the time. Like, I have ADD. I've struggled with confidence issues my whole life. I've been super unfocused. I've had all of those things have happened to me. I've had days when I'm like, where did they go? Yeah. But when I'm working towards a big ass project that stokes my fire and stokes the fire of the people I get to work with, everybody wins. And it's going to be the same for you, whether it's, you know, figuring out exactly what is that speaker series that you're meant to do, what is that message that is for you, or if it's another project, like whatever that project is, you need to find it. And, you know, if you're listening to this live or on the replay, like 2017, like claim that project, claim it. And if you want to do a speaker series, please contact me because I'm stoked right now. I'm super in this momentum and I want other women to experience this, not get lost into the weeds. In fact, the moment you say you take a stand for the bigger decision to make a bigger project and take a stand for it, the weeds are going to disappear. The details become irrelevant because you're taking a stand for what actually matters, the bigger picture. So there is magic in thinking and being and doing bigger, but it requires that choice, that decision. Are you going to choose to be this bigger version of you who does the big shit, who does the big projects? So, you know, for the last few years, what come March 8th, International Women's Day, I look at the calendar and I've been like, oh, I didn't do a big project. Like, that's happened to me a few times. I'm like, fuck, I don't want to have that again. So this March 8th, I don't know what I'm releasing, but She's a Change Maker is doing something. It's going to be something around podcast, a book, collaborative, something, but it's around making that choice, that decision to be everything that you're meant to be. And, you know, I have a lot of unfinished business from last year that I could let myself get lost in. But no, the thing that's actually going to make me focus, and it's going to be the same for you, is deciding to become the version of me who's doing the projects that exist in my future. I have to start to do them now. The version of my business that I'm in now is the one I built 3 months ago. So if I want to build my future business, I have to start being the person I need to be in 3 months today. by naming those projects. So my perfect hack is doing a speaker series, because it is actually a pretty simple project. It's way easier than most people make it seem. There's a lot of moving pieces. I won't lie to you. There's technical stuff. There's, you know, inviting people. There's just a lot of moving pieces. But it's not rocket science. It really isn't. So if this is something you want to learn, come my way. Next week, whoever shows up, I'm going to teach them exactly how to get clear about what is the topic that you're meant to be teaching on, and name that project, start to identify your speakers, start to see what are those puzzle pieces, those moving pieces, and put it together. So I'm doing a 6-week group program. Super casual, super fun. That also includes a one-on-one session with me, so we can help you get clear about your thing, so you can really take a stand for it. And it's on my website, anne-sophie-dumets.com/success. No, Summit to Success, the number 2, Summit to Success. Yeah, and I made it super accessible. It's like $1,000, so we can work together for that time and have lots of access and lots of fun. And I show you all my examples, all my failures, and the things that worked, what to do, what not to do, what marketing you need to worry about, what marketing you don't need to worry about, the technology you need, the one you don't, all the different ways. Like, I did my summit last year on a $100 budget, like shoestring, right? But still, it brought me $15,000 of business. Pretty good ROI, I have to say. But the best ROI, honestly, has been finding myself. Finding this confident, fiery, awesome changemaker version of me. And getting to meet her. It's like, oh, you exist. You're totally in my life. Cool. Now let's be you more consistently, right? So yeah, and so we're going to do that, and also identify sort of the way to monetize your event beyond just selling, you know, recordings, which I actually don't think is the best way to monetize your event. I mean, you can, but it's about figuring out the marketing that is going to just feel good for you, and the different ways you can leverage it. So, you know, I haven't said this really, but I think moving forward, I want to be known as like the leverage queen. Like, I leverage the shit out of everything I do, because I mean, you do it once, you might as well do it well, and you might as well do it the fun way. So that's what this is about. And you know, if you're here live, thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up, you know, to be with me in this moment, and also to be with yourself. And I hope you've received some good juice, some good momentum and mojo from this video, from this conversation that we're having. Because, you know, I really do believe that as leaders, as change makers, it is our responsibility, our duty, to step into this most confident version of ourselves, because our words and have the power to change our world and to change ourselves. I mean, it's through language and through playful languaging, constructive languaging, that we can start to become the people we're here to be, that we can start to rescript our own stories, our own journeys, and start to build on who we are today, but mostly build, like, step into the version of us that exists in our life, but it's just maybe a few steps away. And doing a project like this, a speaker series, a summit, it is like one of the best ways I've found in the last 4 years to meet that version of me, to come alive as this change maker. And you know, I've taken the courses to be an on-stage keynote speaker and all that stuff, and I've been a keynote speaker, but seriously, I think it's so much more fun to do it in this conversational manner, to work with people in an interview context. It's just so human, it's so intimate, and it's an amazing experience if you do it the right way, not the way where you're selling your soul, but rather where you're putting all your love into a project, because that's just what feels good. And when you lead with that amount of love in what you do, that really is when you change lives, including your own. So again, if you feel called, like, send me a message through my page here, the She's a Changemaker page, or simply just head to my website, anne-sophie-dumets.com/summit to success. It's going to be just super fun. And again, very casual. I like to do things the fun way. Like, if you're going to do it anyway, do it the fun way. That's part of the magic. Otherwise, why bother? Like, we're not here to be serious. We have to make our work feel like play. So we're going to play. And that's what it is about. And, you know, when you get that kind of fun energy in everything that you do, people receive it. They receive it, and then they want more of you. Like, when I know I don't know for you, but you know, every time that I feel amazing and I walk into an event and people are like, I just love your energy. It doesn't even matter what I say. It's just my vibe. Like, people just like my vibe. When people like love your vibe, they're going to love you. When you have this amazing vibe, when you're connecting with influencers, like people you're interviewing, you become fast friends, and then they want to help you and you want to help them. I mean, it's just a win-win-win. So again, thank you so much for being here. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you and this opportunity. Like, how fucking lucky are we that we get to live in a world where we can go live from each other's homes right into each other's hearts? How cool is fucking that? Thank you. Thank you for being alive in 2017. How fortunate are we, right? Again, I'm Anne-Sophie Dumetz, founder of She's a Changemaker. You can send me a message through my page here, or if you want to do a summit this winter, if this is your time, you want to step into it, head to my site, anne-sophie-dumetz.com/summit to success. And I hope that we get to work together. I would love to help you clarify what you're here to do and kick some serious ass this year. Tons of love.